everybody. Welcome to the 28-day series celebrating Black History Month through Black women entrepreneurs. Today, we did a various amount of roundtable discussions with several Black women who are in business. This initiative is through Black Women in Excellence. Black Women in Excellence has been established since 2020, and I work with 67 Black women entrepreneurs. And I'm excited to bring this initiative for Black History Month 2023. You're going to see, dynamic Black women who have functional, viable, sustainable businesses. You're going to hear our experiences, our barriers, and what the economy is benefiting from us, along with some of our issues, some things that we'd like to see from the financial institutions, from organizations, and better, equipped with support from our community. So come with me, join me, and enjoy this initiative for 28-day series celebrating Black History Month through Black women entrepreneurs. Hey everybody, welcome to the 28-day series celebrating Black History Month through Black women entrepreneurs. Joining me today is Deidre, Missy, and Fumi. Thank you guys for coming out, especially during this weather here in Halifax today. I am very, very, very excited to jump into this conversation piece. I left this for last because I know this group would be able to nail it. So I kind of have two questions in one, but they're two separate questions, but I know that you guys be able to do this. What can financial institutions and or organizations do to support Black women in business besides the obvious? We don't want to talk about capital. What other things can they do?
I can start. I think it's more of the financial education, because I was discussing with someone the other day. I'm like, hopefully, years to come, a lot of Black businesses does not die, because it's not just about disbursing all these funds. It's about giving them better financial knowledge. Mm-hmm. Because you give them these funds and you're not giving them the education they need. Yeah. So it's more of the financial education alongside giving the funds.
Yeah, and I was speaking with someone yesterday and they had asked the same question, and I had said that we also need to put the terminology in layman's terms, not this highbrow, straight out of your master's with your business administration. No, let's make it so people can understand what they're doing. How are they spending it? Where are they, dispersing it? What is a credit? What is a debit? Let's keep it at that level instead of being so highbrow.
I'll just build on what you're saying there, Missy. So with the educational piece too, not only does it have to be broken down in layman's terms, but it needs to be spoken from an Afrocentric point of view. If you're dealing with our community, you need to talk to our people the way that we understand the language to be spoken to us. So you need to be able to interpret it and break it down so that we understand it the way we speak to each other. One of the other things that they could do to help our communities out is the mentoring, support our businesses as well. If you know our businesses are out there, take a trip and come visit one of our stores and show your support. Yes. If you know of any Black bankers or women of color business advisors or people with more clout, no matter which background they're from, get them to come out and support our businesses too, not just as us as your client in the bank. Yes. But the mentoring is a big piece too.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well, earlier I did say this, and I'm glad both of you guys pointed this out. I appreciate your comment too, but you guys both pointed out about the terminology. And I said this in an earlier segment with a group of other women, that I just had this conversation with having someone publish a terminology manual that I'm going to create. Most of it's already done. And it's basically, I'm not going to say from an Afrocentric point of view, it's basically how I speak. How people from my community, Black people, Black folk, how we talk, will have the correct term. And then here is how they would understand it. So when you're going into a bank or you're talking to an investor or you're pitching your business, you'll get to understand the terminology. If they ask you questions, you'll be like, oh, how much money do I need? What is your capital requirement? So that is something that is well needed here, because the education piece is not there.
Yeah, and when you're looking at adult learning principles, their documentation on some of the, financial institutions. I've gone through and I've looked at some of their documentation, and it is not written with adult education principles in line at all.
I don't think it's been rewritten probably 15, 20 years. I don't know. Some of it just looks like it's just verbiage that's been copied and pasted from year after year after year.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not only that, like there's the piece, like there's also the piece where you have, like you can look at some of the the language that they use at the banks, and this is the language that has come from, like, again, like you mentioned, like a Eurocentric point of view. It's not our language, right? So it's like you need to talk about it the way we talk about it. And so yeah, your book, your dictionary is going to be, your manual's going to be well needed.
Yes, not the Teapedia.
Oh my God. Like not, and I do it because, all these initiatives I continuously do is because I see the needs and no one is addressing them.
Not all of us have a grade 12. Not all of us have a bachelor's degree. And if we do, it might not be in business. So we may not have learned any of those terminologies. You might have some people who are science buffs or arts buffs. Mm-hmm. And so, you can't assume all of us coming from this or doing this. A lot of our small business startups are from folks in our communities who have hustled in their past lives. Yes. So they have the street skills and the common sense smarts and the money smarts, but they don't have that language, that financial institution smart or the academic smart. So there needs to be a bridge that they can build through it, and that's something that the banks could support when the Teapedia comes out.
Not Teapedia. Right? Oh, I like that, Teapedia. Oh my gosh.
Like Wikipedia.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I like that. I'm gonna have to write that down.
Yeah, take it.
It is very important, and like you said, I worked with artists last year through Common Good Solutions. So a lot of the people that came through the African Nova Scotian entrepreneurship program there, they were artists, and the basic terms they just didn't know because that's not their background. Right. They want to take their artistic, traits and their skills and attributes turn into, a stream of income. Yes. But they didn't understand any of that. So I had to start from scratch. I had to start from scratch with, here's the basic terminologies that you need to understand.
Well, and it also has to go into grade 10 math, that terminology, because if we are wanting to create generational wealth in our community as well, it also needs to be part of the school's curriculum so that even if the parent doesn't know the terminology, their child who's 15, 16, and 17 might be able to explain it because it's now thrown into curriculum.
It's true. It's true.
Or maybe there's a way that the banks could bridge some of this education that they have into the school curriculum. So if the school doesn't want to build into their curriculum, maybe they could make the effort to go out to black communities in particular schools, or have sessions that are just for black people to go to high schools in particular and give optional education sessions. Do you want to learn about banking? Do you want to learn about building credit and the terminology? And then at least you're introducing it to them at a young age before credit becomes that devil temptation that a lot of our people in our community get when they hand you out those first credit cards when you're 18 and you don't know anything about it.
You're getting all kinds of phones in your name. All kinds of phones that you ain't paying. You're going to get another phone company and you're jumping around and you get that $500 credit card and you go, boom, one night, you're done with it, right? And then you're like, I don't got to pay it back because you don't understand that payback system.
Or you're just paying.
No, girl, we ain't just paying. We ain't paying it back. Yeah, thank you, teacher. We just ain't paying it back. No.
I'm just saying that $25 a month.
Yeah, no, we ain't doing that. We're getting credit card after credit card and ain't paying it back. And then when you're in your 30s and you're trying to buy a home, you're screwed.
Right, and we don't realize that. Yeah. Right, so it's like that long vision, right? So if some of these bankers could come out to the communities, whether they do community sessions, whether they do it in the schools, this could be another way that they're giving back. Give some of these educational sessions and send out people of color, please, if you're going to black or indigenous communities, please send out some representation so we can trust what you're saying and know that what you're saying is that you act, and send out people who care too, people who want to give back. We do have allies who care, but send them in, send people who look like us with an ally, you know what I mean? Like send them, reach out. They always say they have these community initiatives, but you don't actually really see them in the communities physically. This is a way they could do it.
Yes.
Well, financial literacy. Oh, what's DJ over here breaking up Israel stuff? Oh my God. No, that's all right. It's authentic. We're just sitting around the table talking. We keep it real with TMBWIE. Financial literacy it's painful. People don't, when they hear that financial lit, they don't want to deal with it. When I say we have to do a 3-year financial projection, they don't want to deal with it. It is painful and it is annoying, but once you conquer it, you understand it, it becomes so much more fun that you can see where you can push your business to.
I think it's sexy.
I wouldn't go as far as saying sexy
I'm
at
going to
this
say
point.
I think it's sexy. And the reason I say that is when you look back and you look at your bank account getting bigger and bigger, that is freaking sexy.
I don't know if I want to say sexy.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, look at the bank account. Yeah, I guess.
fine,
But what goes into getting that there and
That's
understanding
sexy.
it. No, I would just say it's fun.
Rewarding. I'm trying to think of other words.
She said joy. What is your answer to that, Fumi, with regards to organizations? What can we do to support Black women in business or Black businesses in general?
You mean what organizations can do?
Yeah, what can any organization, doesn't have to be BWIE, but
Yeah.
what would you like to see as an entrepreneur yourself? What do you long for that's not being, done, assessed? We're not all here doing it.
Honestly,
Yeah. Well, the thing is I don't think that you're not out here doing it. I think what has to happen is you need to have the funds and the opportunities to be able to do more.
Well, that's true too, yeah.
Like you can only do what you are financed to do. I mean, we're competing with banks, but as Black business women, I'd like to say that since COVID, this has been the most inspirational time for me as a woman in business. Being able to share the skills that I do have. I don't profess to be.
No, that's sexy. That's sexy.
I don't profess to be the be-all and end-all, of course, in business education at all, but I'd like to say that what I've learned between the organizations that I've worked for, that I should be able to take that and share that with my community to make those in my community stronger business women.
Good answer. Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. It's almost like a recycling thing.
Teach one.
Yeah, even with the mentorship initiatives through BWIE, when you get a mentor, that's great. You work with your mentor, but then when you're, a year or two into business, I expect you to come back through as a mentor. You're not no longer a mentee. And it keeps going, and all the information that, not just myself, but other organizations put out there to support Black businesses and Black women in business, that you put out there to your households, your children, your family members, your community. If you see someone trying to do a business or they're struggling on certain things with social media or anything, just reach out to them and say, hey girl, I see you're trying to do your thing, but try it this way, or here's an avenue you should go, or here's a website, or there's some funding. Yes. There's a grant that just came out. This will be perfect for you. Don't try to hoard it. I find that in the Black community, it's like there's not enough positions up top. So when people get up top, they forget about the people that need to reach down to and bring out with them because they're scared to lose that top position, for whatever reason. Yeah. Me, I can be at the bottom. I don't give a damn. I'm still going to do what I'm doing. I'm happy at the bottom of the barrel, and I'm happy to be there. And for me, I haven't even reached where I want to reach professionally, in my professional realm. But even where I'm at now, I make sure that I bring people along. Like I find that the Black community just doesn't do that enough, and organizations don't either.
Well, you were doing your sewing. You were teaching people your skills.
Yeah.
You're talking about teaching people your skills as a doula. This is what we're supposed to be doing. This is ancestral. So.
Well, I will say this because you brought up about Fumi about doing her sewing. That was last year, right? Black History Month, libraries. That's one thing I would say about organizations need to start doing. Stop having initiatives and having money there, and then people get approved for the money and making them wait. Because right now, there's money out there for Black History Month, and this is, a week into January. Yep. Fumi, or anybody else, but I'm going to say Fumi, if she wanted to do that cooking class again, that money should already been allotted to her by now, so she can get her ducks in a row to be able to successfully facilitate another cohort.
I'm actually already talking with them.
No, but you should have the money by now. Honest to God, we're doing this segment for Black History Month. Yeah. This is being filmed today, but this is going on for Black History Month. And Israel was really, saying we're going to do it now because we need to work on it and get it finished to come out February 1st. So it shouldn't be we're in conversation. The MOU should be done. Everything should be done. You should be getting your money in the next week or two. And so you can get your so you want to be the best version of yourself. But when you're being rushed because you're waiting on that financial money, and it's not even their money, let the money go. So when organizations hold on to this money like this and make people wait for payment, that's, I think, needs to change, and organizations need to stop doing that.
So I would just say that I just quickly want to say something like in respect to that. I think what the library does is they need to get the people interested. Like they need to know the number of people interested. It's just is a process.
November, December.
So it's not even calling them out, it's just calling out any
organization.
organization.
Because I work with the library. Like the library funded me to do 28-day series last year. And mine was seamlessly done quick.
No, but it's not even calling them out. It's organizations, period.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call out an organization I'm working under right now, but, I'm working ahead of payment. I'm working 4 weeks ahead of payment.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
And it shouldn't be that way, but the client is expecting the work to be done.
Yeah. It's not fair to them.
Yeah, so organizations have that money or they wouldn't approach you in the first place to actually facilitate that position. So even if you don't get to use it in February, okay, we can use it in March. We have March break. We could use it in April. It doesn't matter. They still have the funds. The funds are there. They have to spend the funds before 31st of March.
Yeah, every organization.
Every single organization.
Every one of us. We have March 31st, we have to get rid of money.
Everybody.
And, and making people wait because it's just, I find it defeating. For me as a CEO of Black Women in Excellence, when I'm dealing with funders and I am, getting pushed back and holding back from money and whatnot, but you want me to facilitate a program, it's like, I'm not doing it for free. I'm not doing it for free. And if I have someone else waiting on money, it's even worse because I'm the middleman. So when someone else is waiting on money and they're bothering me, and I shouldn't say bothering because it's their money. It's their money and they deserve the money. So when that happens, oh my Heavenly Father, I get irate because I'm like, why am I getting pushed back? Just give me the bloody money.
Yeah.
Don't say you're going to write a check. Just you have the direct deposit, just give me the money. So I find organizations need to be more streamlined when it comes to Black businesses or businesses in general accessing these funds that are, as we say, segregated for us. It needs to be better streamlined so that we can really properly facilitate. If you want to do something for Black History Month or International Women's Month in March, you would want to have that money now to get your ducks in a row, bringing your what you need to do, get your materials, and facilitate a program on, doula, being a Black doula in Nova Scotia. But you can't do that if you have 3 weeks notice.
No, it's not enough time.
No, it's not enough time.
The other thing I find with organizations, and particularly with Black organizations locally, is that a lot of them, there's some elitism in there involved, so they'll always reach out and only contact or give the contracts or the funding to their besties, right, or their best, when their close little, their circle, and that's not how we're supposed to do it. It needs to be evenly promoted, equally distributed. That's how you bring your whole community up. It's like you said, when some folks get to the top, they're so afraid of an invisible threat of people who are down here coming up and potentially taking their positions, instead of reaching out and making sure that the folks at the bottom have equal access to the same opportunities they do.
Absolutely,
but
bingo.
the elitism is real in our community, and that is a problem. So that needs to be done away with. Like, people got to get over.
It's 2023,
themselves.
and that definitely needs to be
You
put
want to
away
support
with.
youth.
When anyone comes through BWIE, and Missy can testify to this, I don't even look at any applications for a retreat, a pitch competition. I have nothing to do with it. I want it to be a fair choice. And even when the 28-day series, it wasn't so I'm going to pick Fumi because I've been known Fumi for 10 years, or Missy because Missy's consulted with me, or Deidre because she was just in the cohort with me. I open it up for everybody. All you have to do is register and apply. And, I do have people that I'm closer with, of course, but I'm not going to pick those same people every single time. So I make it a point, if I feel like the same people are applying to, an event or a retreat or a pop-up shop, I will start pushing out there other places saying, hey, I know you just started a business, come to this event. Because I don't want it to be what you just said. I don't, it doesn't look good. It just, you got favoritism, and it's not nice for people who are new coming in as black women in business. If Fumi was new coming in, she'd be like, oh, I'm not going to go to that because it's the same girls and I'm not going to fit in.
Yeah. You will stand on the outside and you won't go back. You don't understand that you're actually welcome, right?
It's true. You're out, and you don't even. For me, I know there's certain organizations that primarily deal with indigenous black individuals or immigrant black individuals. With BWIE, I don't care if you're an immigrant or if you're an indigenous. If you're a black woman, come chill with us. Come hang out. Come to a networking event. Come to a pop-up shop. Join it, because at the end of the day, we are all still black women. When we walk down the street, I think it was Ann Devine who said it on a podcast I seen on TikTok, actually. When you go down the street and there's a group of white people and, there's 3 indigenous black Nova Scotians and 2 immigrants, those white people are not going to say, oh, that's a Nova Scotian indigenous and that's an immigrant. They're going to say, that's all black women.
Yeah, that's it.
We are all still black people. Yeah. So the more we get used to that, the better. And the easier the transition is going to be.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, just having the right mindset, it will even further deepen the relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
No, and it's 100% true. And like Fumi, I'm just going to say this, that years ago, we probably would not have an African Nova Scotian woman and an Indigenous Nova Scotian woman sitting side by side to have an interview talking about women in business, because we intersegregated. So that's what's so inspiring now as we move forward in 2023, that we are realizing that we all need to support each other and be here for each other.
Stop allowing the government to divide us. That's what's happening. I heart. Anybody got any last words on, what we can all do or what financial institution or organizations can do? Any last words?
Be fair.
Fumi?
I'm short of words.
Deidre?
Be equitable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Inclusivity is a must.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's a perfect word. Yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me today, and I can't wait for this to be put out there to celebrate Black History Month with all of us Black women entrepreneurs. Thank you.